Okay guys, here we are at Old Town Semarang or Kota Lama Semarang and also known as Little Netherlands. Woo! Okay, short about Semarang. Semarang is a colonial city per excellence. The history of Semarang goes back to the 9th century when it was known as Bergota. At the end of the 15th century, an Arab named Kiai Pandanarang founded a village and an Islamic school in this fishing village. On the 2 May 1547, Sultan Hadiwijaya of Pajang Kiai declared Pandanarang the first Bupati Mayor of Semarang, thus creating Semarang administratively and politically. In 1978, Sunan Amangkurat promised to give control of Semarang to the Dutch East India Company or VOC as a part of a debt payment. In 1982, the Semarang state was founded by the Dutch colonial power, and on 5 October, after years of occupation, Semarang officially became a VOC city when Susuhuan Pakubuwono I made a deal to give extensive trade rights to the VOC in exchange of Pipin Mataram's debt. The VOC, later the Dutch East Indies government, established tobacco plantation in the region of built roads and railroads, making Semarang an important colonial trading center. The historic presence of a large Indo-Eurasian community in the area of Semarang is also reflected by the fact a Kro mixed language called Javindo existed there. And the Japanese military occupied the city along with the rest of Java in 1942 during the Pacific War and World War II. During that time, Semarang was headed by a military governor called Shiko and 2 vice governors known as Fukushiko. One of the vice governors was appointed from Japan and the other was chosen from the local population. After Indonesian independence in 1945, Semarang became the capital of Central Java on 18 August 1955, headed by Mr. Moh Ihsan. It is also became the site of a battle between Indonesian and Japanese soldiers in October 1945. Okay, the largest ethnicity of Semarang includes Javanese, followed by minorities of Chinese, Indian, Arabic, and others, including local ethnicities such as Sundanese, Batak, Madura, and many more. The dominant religion is Islam, with significantly Christian. Semarang has a large Chinese community, as in other regions of Java, especially in Central Java. They have migrated closely with the local population and used Javanese in communication for hundreds of years. About 4 to 5 of the city's population is ethnic Chinese, many residing in a Chinatown in the vicinity of Gang Pinggir. The Chinatown is called Kampung Pecinan Semawis and expresses many aspects of traditional Chinese culture, including foods, rituals, and houses of worship. Okay, back to Kota Lama Semarang. Established in 17th century, Kota Lama Semarang is a best preserved colonial city with a remarkable testimony of an important historical phase of human civilization in economic, political, and social in the Southeast Asia and the world. Although it is today a sprawling metropolis of 1.2 million inhabitants, its old center retains a group of buildings with various architectural styles coming from medieval, Baroque, and modern style. Its unique urban landscape shows a development of a fortified city which is growing into an international and cosmopolitan port city in its age. It starts from the establishment of VOC for the Adjacent to the Semarang riverbank, the fort has 5 bastions, so it is also known as the Vichok. After the fortified wall was demolished in 1824, this site growing up as a modern trade city. The Industrial Revolution also became a trigger to accelerate the development of the region. Simultaneously, with the opening of investment program for foreign private firms, causing this export area became crowded with commercial transactions, also loading unloading activities. The site was dominated by office building, warehouses, stores, banks, and foreign consulates. The infrastructure development have also get the attention, such as the widening of Semarang riverbank, setting up a new harbor and provide the reliable transportation for public and commodities. The site also connected to harbor directly through railway from Tawang train station on the north side and Jurnatan train station on the south side. During the Jemanti Semarang governor, slowly the city had grown up so that the new development focused on the southern part, so that the former region fortress was known as the Old City or Kota Lama. From the history of the Old City area, it can be concluded that Semarang Old Town site has an important and significant role in the early phase of the establishment of the Semarang city. Justification of outstanding universal value, Semarang Old Town or Semarang Kota Lama is the location of important point of Semarang city growth. On this site, trading activities involving international cruise lines have been developed since early 20th century. Utilization of steam and gas engines are the common thing at that time. Together with the train stations, ports, Kali Semarang, as well as Chinatown, Kampung Melayu, the site shaped the Semarang region as a whole. There are three keywords to understand the Semarang Old City in the early 20s. There are cosmopolitan, trade, and services. The site also integrated with industrial plants and the natural resource that come from Central Java, so that it gives the impact of modern culture for all cities in Central Java. Colonial architecture appeared and crossed with local conditions presents the unique character to the site. All of it is because there has been an obvious aim for directing the site as the center of trade and services in Semarang. Okay. Semarang represents exceptional examples as multicultural trading towns in Southeast Asia forged from the mercantile and exchange of Javanese, Malay, Chinese, and Arabian cultures, and Dutch colonial powers for almost 350 years, each with its imprints on the architecture, urban form, and technology, and exhibit an important interchange of human values in Asia during the early of 19th century. Founded about 16, Semarang Kota Lama was developed from a fortified city. During the end of the 17th century, the fortress had to be torn down due to economic growth, especially to accommodate the use of steam locomotive as a means of transportation to support Semarang. which in this day becomes a notable international trading port city. The use of steam locomotive, which brought by the torn down of the fortress, had changed Semarang Kota Lama, which in the 17th century was an introvert city with its fortification becomes more open, multicultural and cosmopolitan. Kota Lama Semarang as a multicultural and cosmopolitan international trade city can be seen through the fact that the city becomes the residence of important business offices during the time. Namely the central office of Wei Tiangham Corporations, a Chinese tycoon well known as the monopoly holder for opium and sugar trading, and important businessman internationally, laid in Wall Street or Kepodang Street today. The corporation was the first corporation's highest foreigner employee. The use of steam locomotive as an important transportation meant to mobilize commodities from other regions of Java, led into existence of vereniging Voerspur and tramway personnel, the first labor movement in Indonesia in 1918, which is closely related to the establishment of Indonesian Communist Party as the first communist party in Asia in 1921, led by Tan Malaka. And this history shows the riches of Semarang urban development provides a fertile ground for the interchanges of human values in Asia. Semarang reflects a mixture of influences which have created a unique architecture, culture, and townscape without parallel anywhere in Southeast Asia. In particular, they demonstrate an exceptional range of office, warehouse, townhouse, and shop houses. These buildings show many different types and stage of development of the building type, like medieval, Baroque, and modern colonialism. Also became the first location in Southeast Asia for the presence of steam locomotive technology. Semarang Kota Lama has maintained a remarkable unity of character through its adherence to its original layout. The layout of the city is the evidence that in its early stage, Semarang Kota Lama belongs to the criteria of a medieval city with the church as its center, and a square, a town hall, and surrounded by fortification. As the economy growing, the city decorated with Baroque style monuments such as the Emmanuel Church, which is nowadays one of the most popular landmarks on Semarang city, and later with modern style, namely the central office of Wei Tiangham in Wall Street, today Kepodang Street, a Chinese tycoon who played important role in international sugar trading in the early of 19th century. Interspersed with this mix of Baroque and neoclassical style monuments is a homogeneous ensemble of offices and warehouse with arcades, balconies, wrought iron gates, and internal courtyards, many of them evocatively time-worn. Many of famous architect work reside in Kota Lama Semarang, such as J.P. de Boerts, W. Westmas, H.P. de Wilde, Henry Thomas Karsten, and Lim Wan Chi. belongs to the International Trading Port City Network of Asia in the 17th century to 18th centuries. With other international port cities, Penang, Vigan, and Batavia, Semarang embraced lifestyle and architecture blend of Asian and Western. However, in contrast to the city, Semarang shows distinctly its strong connections to the earliest development of steam locomotive technology in Southeast Asia as a transportation means to support its trade. And okay guys, I guess that's all for today's tour. Thank you very much for having me as your guides. Hope it helped with the information and of course you all had a nice time with me. See you again guys.